Well, now to our morning business report. Florida suing the company that created ChatGPT, claiming it concealed safety risks involving the AI chatbot.
And a new study says AI might not be the biggest reason why college graduates are struggling to find jobs. Channel 3's Jane King live at the New York Stock Exchange with those stories and more. Good morning, Jane.
Hi, Tracy and Kaylee. Good morning. Yes, new research from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York finds remote work, not AI, is to blame for college grads having trouble finding jobs. Now, they analyzed federal employment data. They did a deep dive into flexible work arrangements at one unnamed Fortune 500 tech company and found that companies are less likely to hire recent college grads into occupations that can be done remotely. And researchers speculate employers are reluctant to put such workers in a setting where it's harder to absorb lessons from coworkers. Well, Florida sued OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman over business practices related to ChatGPT. The lawsuit points to 2 deadly shootings in Florida where the accused shooters are reported to have consulted with its AI product. Now, Florida's Attorney General described the case as a first-in-the-nation lawsuit. OpenAI said ChatGPT directed the people to get support, including from mental health professionals, and the company also noted it cooperated with law enforcement in both instances. Well, get ready for a new McDonald's. The chain's executives announced fancier chicken, new playgrounds, and airier restaurants. The CEO says the chain will still focus on value and speed, but customers are wanting more. And we did have more records for stocks yesterday. We've been up for 9 straight weeks as AI-related stocks have propelled the market higher. Does look like we'll have a pullback in store for the open today, though. Live from the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King. Back to you.